President Akufo-Addo has voted in his hometown Chebi this morning in the ongoing district assembly elections. The president, who arrived early this morning to a rousing welcome from members of the community, went through the polls successfully in the company of his security detail. Eastern Region correspondent Maxwell Kudeko joins us live with more. Good morning, Maxwell.
Hello, good morning.
Which polling centers have you visited this morning and what can you report?
I'll be moving within the New Gabon South and New Gabon North constituency. I've visited several polling stations, including the Ministry's Canteen, the Akufo-Addo A and B, the Yautrema Chrome Railway polling station. I went to the Efijasi, about 8 polling stations, Efijasi police station A and B. I've been to a Dumasa electoral area community center, and I'm personally at the Ogwa polling station, exactly at the Legend 4 premises where voting is currently goes. But this is the outlook of the region. In the Eastern region, we have a total electoral area of 821. At the district assembly election, the assembly member election, 799 are contested. And then we have a total number of polling stations being 3,374. In some constituent or in some polling stations, we have no contest. No contest means that only one person filed to contest for the assembly election. So about 22 electoral areas had no contest. In the unit committee elections, there's a total unit committee of 582. And then out of the 582, only 239 are also contesting unopposed. So 239 unit committee centers or electoral areas are contesting unopposed. If you look at the statistics given by the Electoral Commission in the Eastern region, we have about 2,397 male contesting for the assembly election, and then 141 female contesting. If you check the percentage, only 5.56% are female in this contest, and a whooping 94.44% are contesting, who are contesting are male. If you check the unit committee election, we have a male population of 4,299, representing 89.69%, and 493, representing 10.31% being female. So this is the general outlook. But if you, almost all the places that I have visited, turnout seems to be very low. At the canteen polling station, at the Ministry's Canteen police station, as at 8:30, only 4 have passed through the vote. Places like the Akufo-Addo polling station A, you have a total or expected vote of almost 500, and then only 36 have passed through the process as at 9:30. So generally it has been low, but in some polling stations I observed that some of the aspirants are conveying the agents in a taxi. They are moving through the various homes and picking the old ladies and old men to come and then vote. I can report that in some of the polling centers I visited, the electoral officers are almost sitting idle. You don't have people queuing. Sometimes you'll be there within 20, 15 minutes, and one person will come and go. So turnout has been very low. But the officers tells me that they want to believe that because today is a working day, maybe around 3, 4 thereabouts, people will troop in their numbers to come and exercise their franchise. So basically, this is the outlook from the 2 constituencies I have visited in the Eastern region.
Thank you very much for that report, Maxwell. Meanwhile, the Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, was among the first to vote at 7:26 a.m. at the Theriga DA School polling station in Waliwali. The Vice President has urged Ghanaians to come out in their numbers to vote, emphasizing that national development begins at the local level. Let's stay there a little bit longer and link up with my colleague Ilyasu Tanko, who reports from the very station the Vice President cast his votes this morning. Ilyasu, good morning. What can you report? Hello, Ilyasu. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Okay, so what can you report for us this morning?
Well, at the Surugu GSSB police station, I'm just returning from the Theriga Presby A, where the Vice President cast his vote this morning. And we have about 600 polling stations in the entire region. That's what the electoral officers told me this morning. And going around, visited about 8 polling stations in the Waliwali township alone. And generally, the turnout this morning has been very low. And the officers are telling me that because it's still in the morning, they are expecting that as the day progresses, they are expecting more people to come out in their numbers and vote. But there are few challenges that we have encountered so far in our visit to these particular polling stations. We found a number of, especially aged people or elderly people who are been able to go through the verification process. And in one of the polling stations, Cotton Office police stations, I counted about 5 of these women who were not able to go through the verification process. And the officer in charge in that particular area has an alternative for these people. And what they do is that they allow them to go through the manual process. Again, we also find out that a lot more people are not able to, are not getting their names in the registers. We encountered about 3 of these instances. People have not been able to see their name in the registers. And we spoke to the electoral officer for this area, and he told us that they will not be able to take blame for this particular challenge because they had opened, I mean, they are giving these people a chance to come and verify their name, and so they will not be able, they are pushing back this particular, because we spoke to a number of people who are accusing the electoral officers of not doing due diligence. That is why they have not been able to find their names, and the electoral officers are also pushing back this particular allegation. They say that they gave them the opportunity to come and verify their name, and they couldn't do that. And also, when we visited some polling stations, of course, some polling stations have not been able to start the process early, and because the electoral officers were telling us that they had little challenge with transportation, and this is a very remote area. The road connections is very bad. And the staff are also telling us that they face a lot of vehicle. They do not have vehicles to transport some of these officers to this particular remote area. But they have told us that they have, rectified this, and all the officers are at their various polling stations and they are working. But largely, what I can say is that voting, the turnout is very, very low as of now.
Thank you very much. I'm sure we'll come back to you in the course of the day for some updates. I'm also joined by Erastus Asaridogo. He's reporting from Kumasi. Good morning, Erastus.
Good morning.
So what can you report? What's going on in Kumasi?
Well, generally, I must say that the voting has been a bit slow. In areas where you have 800 people expected to vote, as at about 7:30, you had about 12, between 12 and 19 voting at the time. Some areas also started late, and so is only the areas around Abuabo, Sewaba, electoral areas like Asempa and Sakafia Mosque, where we have massive turnout. In fact, you have people queuing right into the main road in those areas. I tried to find out, and they were telling me that they have high expectations of whoever should be the next assembly member for the area because of needs like a broken bridge, which has claimed 3 lives in the area. And so this time around, many of the people feel that they need somebody who could, 1, fix the bridge for them immediately, and then 2, work on the security in the area for them. And so they have high expectations of whoever should become the assembly member, and that is accounting for the high voter turnout in that particular area.
Right, and have there been any issues reported that you're aware of?
Yes, in fact, at Asempa electoral area and Sakafia electoral area, we have many women who felt disenfranchised because they could not locate their names in the register. They claim that last year, the last election, they voted right at that particular electoral center, but then they could not find their names there. I spoke with the electoral officer for that area, and he was saying that yes, so far 3 people could not find their names, but they've told them that they have 5 electoral centers in that particular vicinity, and so they should check their names in all of them. That is what was trying to create a problem for people who felt that some things have been changed, and that is why they cannot find their names at where they used to vote. The other thing that we realized was that the national identification registration at Sakafia, for example, they were sharing the same center with the voting process, and so there was that a problem where people will want to go and queue for their national card, and so they wouldn't want to join the queue to vote in this particular election. So they were thinking that one could be held on, so that the other one could continue for today. That was the sort of contradiction in that particular area.
Right, thank you very much, Erastus, for that report from Kumasi. I'm speaking now to Martina Bugri. She's joining us from the Northern region. Good morning, Martina. Hello, good morning, Martina.
The Lamachegu Center, where they have a center A, B, and C. Most of the stations I visited earlier, a lot of them had not started. I visited close to 6 centers this morning, and it was past 7:20, and most of them had not started. I went to the Kapohini Anglican, where they had some issues with the process. Now the candidates had their names and their positions, but they had their pictures and their positions. They didn't have the name. They had brought in a different assembly electoral areas names attached to the pictures of those who were for Kapohini, and so there was a bit of disagreement as to whether they should go ahead or not. The former assembly member met with the candidates and then spoke to them. They all agreed, and then the process started. But as the process was about to start, some of the electors who came to vote disagreed with the process. They said there was legal implications, and so there was a need for them to have sought the court's permission before they would go ahead with the election. But that was discounted, and so I went to the EC's office and spoke to the acting regional EC director, and he says that once the candidates have agreed that the process should go on, they are the key stakeholders, and once they have agreed, then the process should go on. I'm currently at Lamachegu. I must say that the turnout for the block, the Lamachegu Block A center is very high. They have had about 60 already going through the process. But the B and C, the turnout is very low. They said they have had some few challenges, and the challenge is that most of them come and they are unable to verify their fingerprints. And probably the official here is telling me that it could be because of the harsh weather, and these are very elderly people.
In the case of the verification, if they're not able to verify, are they considering using the manual method?
Yes. So far, all those who have not been able to verify have been allowed because they use the manual process.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that, Martina. We will speak to you a little later on. But I also have Natalia joining us from the Western region. Okay. We will go back to Natalia.